What's up, guys? It's your boy Dante Miller. Here we are at San Diego Comic Con, and we're here to talk about the card game Overpower. So, if you don't know what that is, please do your research because it's been out there way before I was born. So, stay tuned. That may not know you at home. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm John Lamb. I did some storyboards on Invincible. I work on 2XKO, which is the Riot fighting game. I don't know if you're, into FGC stuff or, yeah. So, we've been working on that for a long time. So I'm just here jamming with Overpower on some of their Invincible cards.
All right. So, with you being a big person in Skybound, because that's Invincible's universe, correct?
Yep.
All right. So, what have you found being a challenge in coming from storyboard into CCG?
Like card art.
Yes.
I think if anything, it takes a lot more polish. Like in storyboarding, I can do like chicken scratch, and as long as you communicate the story and the characters, it goes. But for this, I really had to spend some more time making sure that anatomy was on point and like all the illustrations were tight. So I think it was kind of nice to like come back to the Invincible world and kind of just put my love and time into it, to making a clean illustration.
I like that. So, my next question for you is what has been your biggest driving or your biggest goal to make sure that you shown in this project?
If anything, I just want to show my love for the project, and like when I first started doing the illustrations, I said I straight up want to just monopolize all the Invincible characters. I just want all of them. I don't care who I have to kick out of the way. I just want to handle all the Invincible characters. So that's been like my main motivation for this. Yeah.
I like that. So, is there any special or rare cards we can expect from the Invincible universe in this Skybound deck?
I'll just say, I'm going to try my best to tackle all the characters that ever were in Invincible. The first two are Mark and Omni-Man. I just expect more. That's all I got to say. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm truly excited, and me personally, I am a card collector,
Sweet.
so I can't wait to see. And I'm definitely waiting. Thank you for your time, man. Good.
Yeah.
So, for the audience at home that may not know you, can you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Ito, and I started doing comic book covers professionally about 2 to 3 months ago, and before that, I was just doing mostly my own personal stuff. But then I got noticed and started working more with big labels and big names. Yeah.
So, transferring from comic book covers, which I'm a big fan of, what has you found been a big struggle creating iconic images for the CCG cards?
It's mostly a lot of educating myself. I have to learn a lot about what great artists have already done in the past, and also use influences to be like, okay, what can I do that's new and doesn't look like I'm just copying. But it's a really fun process, But I'm making a lot of mistakes, and I have to go back and change logos and move things around, and where I'm making character mistakes. And the costumes are always evolving, and so I have to keep up with it, better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like that. So, with you being a very stylish person yourself, how do you balance your artistic style and blend it in with the original creation of the character itself?
Yeah, I think I mostly look at the past work and then see their influences. And so when you look at a past work, it's not too difficult to be like, okay, they're influenced by like Frazetta, or they're influenced by like a Jim Lee or something like that. And so I'll use those, and I'll look up their compatriot works and kind of try to merge things. But then I think the main thing you add when you're doing your own work is that you take your own reference. So you photograph yourself or get friends to model, and that'll add a lot of
real life reference.
Yeah, a unique, because obviously it's a very unique picture that's being used for that.
So during this whole process, what struggles have you or challenges you came across and overcome?
I think it's balancing watercolor and I work primarily on watercolor and oil, and watercolor is it's a hard medium because you have to work really quick.
Yes.
And so but you want to reach a finished level. So if you go over the same specific spot too much on a painting, it won't look well done.
Oversaturated. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but with painting, like oil and acrylic, you can keep layering and cover up mistakes. So with watercolor, I'm trying to reach that kind of good middle ground where I can have really cover-worthy work without having to make it look like it's overworked or overdone. Yeah, so. Yeah.
My last question: as aspiring artist as myself, I'm currently working on my own project.
Oh, great.
What
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone like me that's either working on their own project or aspiring to be working for Image Comics, Marvel, or DC?
I would say I got freed up when I started painting what I liked, and so I learned a lot of classical stuff, just drawing statues in museums, things like that, learning the human figure. But then when I started doing things like I love movies, so I would paint my favorite movie characters, whether it's like Star Wars or Blade Runner or something like that. Or so in art school and books, they'll tell you to paint like bowls of fruit, or like landscapes, and if you don't like that, you're not going to get into it,
Yeah,
So
there's no interest.
yeah, so always keep just doing what the subject matter you like, because it's all the same. It's all colors, forms, shapes, light, shadow. But if you do pick the subject matter you like, that'll keep you going. More.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your
thank you
Comic
so
Con.
much. Yeah, thanks.
And hopefully one day I get to be working next to you.
Yeah, well, let's try together sometime for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
I didn't bring any tools.
So, for the audience at home, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Casey Parsons. I'm one of the artists that's working on Overpower, and I'm part of the Kirby's comic art team.
So, with you being started off as a comic book artist, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, what has been the biggest struggle for you coming from the comic book background to now collectible card games?
I would say it's different because like a comic, like I was doing a lot of variant covers, and you get like a single image, and you want to compose a single image, and you're used to that format and style. Cards are kind of a similar kind of idea, but now it's like you might be doing a bunch of them, and you're trying to make all these dramatic single moments, not a cover, but you're trying to grab this moment of a story, and then make it like a nice illustration, and that describes the card. So like, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It's different. I think the pressure's a little different. And it's actually just a lot of fun to kind of play a little bit. Like you get a bit of room to play, where a cover I think is a little more tight and formal and structured, like a movie poster kind of thing. But
Yeah.
this is more like you can draw like a dramatic scene, or just a guy being punched in the face,
You
like
capture
almost
the
like a
moment.
panel
Yeah.
that's been brought out, or a movie still kind of thing. So
I like that.
Yeah. So it's there is a different thought process in it all, and composing it and structure, and even the format's a little different. Like it can be a little more square on some of the cards, or landscape. So you get to kind of play with, stretch your legs a little bit, composing things that you're used to the 11 by 17 sort of
Yes.
format, right? I think to me that's the challenge. The challenge is always like just trying to bring that next like vision that they want to life, and do a nice job on it, and try and compete with these amazing colleagues of mine. Yeah.
So, how do you find the balance in bringing in your own style, but also keeping the classic reference of what we know and love of the characters?
Yeah, balance, I think, is a very key word. In some ways, I try not to think about it too much, in a sense, because I think you could get sort of caught up in that. I guess there's sort of like an intuitive feeling about it, I think. Because you want to like give your interpretation of things, but you also have to be you have to be true to the licensed material.
Yeah.
So you don't want to like deter from anything, even colors and things and little details that you got to get in there. That's part of the, because it's like, oh, that's his armor's a little different, or we don't want it like the cartoon, we want it like the comic book kind of thing. Like I'm thinking of Invincible, because I'm very familiar with the cartoon.
Yes.
But like I'm also kind of a traditionalist too, so I would want to take the cartoon and make it look more realistic in a sense, right? So, you go to the comic source for that, and it's quite different, actually. Like, it's familiar, but, like, I did, I don't know, something like 300 Flaxens so far, which is like these army guys that are, not that many cards, but just that many figures in the cards. Yeah. So I could draw them in my sleep now. But, like, the cartoon and the comic book, there's all these subtle differences, and and I keep, like, even tweaking it on each card, like, kind of going, okay, I'm going to make this a little clearer, and so it's still like a learning thing as I go too, right? So and getting to do all these number of cards, I can kind of keep trying to up my game and keep trying to make it clear and get the language, the visual language down better each time. Yeah.
So far, out of all the cards that you have done, which one has been by far your favorite? Whether it be the character or even a little action scene from it.
I have to say, like early on, I got to do a Cthulhu card, and I'm a big Lovecraft fan. There was already several brilliant Cthulhus, but me getting to play that, I was just like, yes, like this is like I'm a huge fan of that world. Like so, yeah, like to me that's still like dear to me. Like and just I tried really hard, to make this thing look huge and in space and formal and just bring everything I got into it.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm still proud of that one.
I love that. My final question for you: what is the biggest appreciation you want the fans to take away from your art pieces on these cards?
Oh my gosh, I mean, I can't even. I just hope like. I mean, I love how the cards they do focus on the art. They're like beautifully printed, like they're high quality cards. So, and they are a bit art centric. It's not just generic. Here's a quick, sloppy cartoon that just to fill in. Like this is like these are artists making like really good art for these cards. I think they stand out because of the quality and the level of talent that's being brought into the set. If I can put it that way, I don't want to sound cheesy about it. But it's true. Like these guys are brilliant, and like what Ito and John Lamb and Tom Selleck are it's like you just have like. You don't have to take my word for it. If you see the cards, I mean, they're phenomenal. Like the art, and like I'm just trying to live up to, even keep up with these guys a little bit.
So I know I said.
Yeah, I'm hoping they appreciate the art. Basically,
I love
that's the answer, I guess.
I know I said last question, but I do have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Is there any other comics that we can see you doing work on? Variant covers?
At the moment, not so much, but I did do another a Battle Beast variant, which was a lot of fun. So again, playing in that Invincible universe was just
which variant?
Great fun.
Which issue was that?
It was
for?
Battle Beast 1, I think. Yeah. So this is it's a store variant, but it's because there was a lot of. I mean, come on. I mean, doing that
Battle Beast is amazing.
crazy warrior lion thing, and what was fun was we did it like an old VHS cover. So we made it like it was like an old movie kind of cover. So I did like the painting, and then I found out a way to this filter so you can make it look like a scratched up VHS cover.
That is dope.
And that was new for me too. That was fun. That was tricky to do that, but it was so fun.
I'm going to have to find it now. But
yeah, so I'm loving the universe. Thank you, Don.
Thank you for your time. And I want to appreciate you, and I can't wait to see these cards.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your
Play
con.
Overpower.
Please play Overpower. Come on, guys. Thank you. So how are we doing, guys?
We're doing great.
Good. So can I have each one of you introduce yourself for the audience at home, please?
I'm Ronald Pozzi, the president of Lazarus Rising Games.
I'm Joseph Geinpin. I'm the CEO of Lazarus Rising Games, and I'm the lead developer on the game Overpower.
And I'm Ron Peraza. I was part of the original Overpower development team, and I'm an advisor for Overpower.
So with you bringing back the newer Overpower Rising and you created Overpower in general, how has the CCG landscape have changed since Overpowered and Overpower Rising?
Well, so it's just Overpower. The company's Lazarus Rising Games.
Okay.
The biggest thing that's changed in the last 30 years is just the development. Back when Ron was doing it, and he'll speak a little bit to this, it's a little more akin to the Wild West. Magic came out in '92. They were developing this game 2 years later, and there was not this idea that when you see new CCGs that get developed now, 99% of them have a resource mechanic, and on some level they're a clone of Magic the Gathering. And so that's what people think of now when they think CCGs. A lot of times it's the turnoff. They say, well, I've played Magic, so I don't like CCGs. What was awesome about playing Overpower as a kid, games back then weren't thinking of it that way. They're just like, well, that card game's good, let's make our own card game. So Overpower plays completely differently than any other game. But now fast forward, we've had 30 years of seeing all the mistakes everyone made and what the best practices are in gaming, the development of the whole German gaming community and what they developed with board games. So we've been able to take the amazing work that Ron and his team did to develop the original game, and we've been able to take the best of the old and the new to make Overpower that still is 100% compatible with the original, but just tweak the approach to the same elements to make it more user-friendly and improve the player experience.
Okay. Anyone want to add on to that?
No, I agree completely with Joe.
Yeah, I think Joe hit the nail on the head, right?
So my next question for you guys is there any mechanics or any changes in the game itself that has changed since the beginning until now?
Yeah, so there's there's a few things that we've done differently. So like I said, we try to make sure that when you sit down, this is the game of Overpower. So we tried to make sure we didn't just say, hey, the game works differently, now play it this way. But what we've done is we've taken elements that were in the original game. So for example, in our game, all the superheroes have their 4 stats. It's energy, combat, brute force, and intelligence, and they have a ranking of 1 to 8. Now, the more dangerous characters have a threat level, and you used to figure that out by adding up their stats. And what we realized is if we just separated that and just created a threat number icon, which is very common in gaming now, that you have so much more design latitude in how powerful the cards for the character can be, and you're not beholden to trying to give them certain stats to make them a more threat high character. But we still kept the same range. You still have 76 points to build your deck. The range is still 15 to 23. So what we've done is we've made it more approachable for a new player or somebody that even an old returning player, but they still sit down and you can complete. It's 100% compatible with the original game because we haven't just changed any of the elements.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anyone want?
No, which is something classic that you see in reimagined or relaunched games where they try to put too much their fingerprint on it by removing beloved mechanics. And we were trying to stay true to what inspired the game originally from Joe's childhood and what Ron did to keep it very true to itself.
And to quote Ron, when we first met him at New York Comic Con, like in person, you know, he walked up and he said, "This is Overpower," and that's really what we want. Is we envision this. We're starting with Image because Image Comics only had one set originally, and it was probably going to be one of the next sets that came out. And so we really envision this as starting with almost the same foundation and taking the next step. So we will get to all these new crazy mechanics we have ideas for, and we've got great ideas, but we wanted to start with a lot of the same elements. So when you sit down, you're like, all right, I'm just playing Overpower.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with the brand deals that came along, Skybound, Top Cow, how did that come about? Like, how did you guys reach out and actually get those brand deals?
Well, at the beginning, when we acquired the trademark, we were like, okay, we are not well known. In fact, we're not known. So the best thing to do is to go talk to them in person. We went to the cons together. We started talking to the artist. We were presenting our case. And eventually, through passion and through sheer relentlessness, we managed to get a foot or a seat at the table. And then at that point, Joe and I managed to figure out a deal that made sense for everybody, including the fact that we're doing something very unique to other licensed properties. We're creating a lot of unique original artwork. We're working with a lot of very talented artists, and the licensees, the licensee holders, are trusting us to work together to find the best representation for their beloved characters.
I love that. Yeah. Anyone want to add on?
On some level, like with some of the artists that we really love, I like to say we just Shawshanked them. So I won't name names, but there was a particular artist that I wanted to work with. We met him at almost 2 years ago.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah, and he said I won't drop the name, but he was like, yeah, I'm interested, but then like wouldn't respond to emails, and I wrote him every Monday for 2 years.
Jesus.
In 2 years, and was just like, hey, I don't know if you're getting my emails, and just kept it up and was really nice. And then finally, after 2 years, he was like, Jesus, I'll do 30 minutes. And then we had a meeting with him, and then he was like, all right, I really like what you guys are doing, and now we have his properties in the game.
Yeah. And he's going to create original artwork,
Yeah.
which is fabulous.
That's awesome. So, as you guys said, Overpowered is very art-essential. It is beautiful, and as an artist, I love it. So what inspired y'all to take that route, to make it more art-heavy and show the creativity of the artists and their styles, but also still paying homage to original character designs?
Well, let's actually, Ron, why don't you talk about how it got started? Because Ron's original work was my inspiration.
So in the 90s when the game started, there really were no other card games around. Magic had just come out, and Magic had a very unique design that you can still see today, where they have a kind of a little window of art at the top and then a lot of card text around that to describe the mechanic and how it works. We were coming from the original version of Overpower was owned by Marvel, right? So we were coming from very much a Marvel trading card background, where if you know trading cards, it's all art on the front. The whole thing is art on the front, and all the text is on the back. So we had to solve the problem of like, well, how do you have a standard card back, but still have all the art on the front in a trading card sense? And so our whole design aesthetic was coming from not from a game card, background, but from a trading card background. So we tried to clear as much space as possible, make things more about icons and how the text would fit in a consistent area rather than elaborate game text, and then consistent rules on how cards were played, so you didn't have to put that text on the card itself. And then that carried through to what they're doing now.
And then I have to say also, taking that is that they had access to the Marvel archives, the Marvel artists. Tremendous resource. In our case, instead, we're licensing, so we're out of house. But what is the differentiator? You've all seen your favorite characters with the same 5 images. And eventually you can get tired of that because even if the game is interesting, it's like there's a lack of imagination and inspiration. And so we wanted to bring that back because it's going to influence the next generation.
I like that.
Yeah, so I worked. I've got my background in game design was for a few companies, but I did some design on the Magic the Gathering board game that was out, Heroes of the Planeswalkers. But I would see even at those big companies that I would work for that had the Marvel license, they would give you the archive, but I can literally explain to you the 5 different pictures of Luke Cage that's used in every game that comes out because it's always the same. They're like, hey, here's this character, use these 5 images however you want. And I'm the kind of person, I'm so visually based that it's the same thing. Even with some of my favorite games, I'll be like, oh, it's that picture of Green Arrow again. Or it's that's from like the cover of the Kevin Smith run, like issue 3. And so it's really important for us to inspire a new generation of artists, because not just what we're doing working here. You know, one of my best friends who does graphic design for us, he's a really prominent graphic designer who's worked with Nike and Bauer and done all these big projects. His love of art and getting to his whole career was based on me at 12 years old being like, no, dude, you're reading X-Men. I just found this like comic. I watched the cartoon, like, and then bringing it over and being like, nope, now we're playing this game. And like, he just would get into it with me. And we need to inspire this new generation. There's so many tools that if they take over, we're very anti-AI. And if we let this stuff take over, people are going to look at stuff and be like, wow, that's cool, but it's not going to have the soul. It's not going to inspire the same way. You know, when I opened my first pack of 92 Marvel Masterpieces and saw the painting Joe Jusko did of Human Torch, that made me get my parents to drive me 3 hours to a comic book store to buy Fantastic Four. I had no idea what it was, but that art was so inspiring. I was like, I have to know why this dude is on fire in space. It's such a cool idea. And it's really, I've said this a bunch, but if we can inspire the next generation of people to create art and to love art and to appreciate art through our game, then that's going to make everything worth it.
I love that. Yeah. So my final question for you guys: is there any major brands or franchises characters that we can expect to see in the future?
So the ink's not dry on anything, so we can't really release anything. I don't know how widespread it is, but we are telling people now. So when we released the Top Cow set, we did just work out a deal with Eric Larson, one of our favorite creators. So Top Cow set's going to feature Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
So we are going to be able to tell you that. So
awesome.
it'll still have, Witchblade, Darkness, Cyberforce, Strikeforce, and it'll have Savage Dragon and probably like Super Patriot as playable characters.
Sweet. That is awesome. Well, thank you guys.
And I have to just say that probably what you're thinking about, your favorite character, that's who we want in this game.
Yeah, we can't say who we're talking to or anything like that. All we can say is just, stay happy, cowabunga, and maybe you'll see your favorite people. I don't know.
I love that. I love that. So sky's the limit.
Yeah, whoever,
We have a lot of love for different stories that we want to
I love that. Well, thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. And there we have it, guys. We talked to the creator, the original creator, and now the revival creator of Overpowered, and we talked to 3 of the amazing artists of Overpowered. So please, if you don't know what Overpowered is, it is an amazing card game that you should definitely check out. But in other words, I'm Dante Miller. That's my entertainment. What's yours?